Dr. Eriko Sukumi, clinical psychologist, and your training can I just remember Bibra Famaya Binam Krumuha, Ewa Yum Bebre. Oh, my name do Fika Fibre for the Aba Accra. I don't talk to Ram Ken Namne at a passengers and Becas and a fan. A person papa be your friend ya toothpaste with the choose here and one year the yin can be a whole free ho. Now fe asiem pro and a yin now say fita kama and no cassa when him. One of нас swim.
One fuck down, hold me, we gotta go twice. I'm here for you, just tell me what you like. I wanna put you in my life.
If I tell you, say I love you, oh. My money, my body, now your own, oh baby. 30 billion for the account, yo. Yeah. Versace and Gucci for your body, oh baby. No do, gotta for me. No do, say that, oh. No do, shakara, oh. No do, gotta for me, oh. Girl, you're beautiful too. My number one in tutu, sipping bruku tutu. For your love it tutu, I go chuku. Biko obianuju, say you do me juju, cause I'm feeling the juju. Shake it to you, take it. I wanna dash it to you, take it. You can have it to you, take it. You know I got this in you, take it. I love you. There's nothing above you. Above you. Bridget, you. I like your mini skirt, you. Okay, you carry fancy, you. If I tell you, hey, I love you, oh. My money, my body, now your own, oh baby. 30 billion for the account, yo. Versace and Gucci for your body, oh baby. No do, gotta for me. No do, say that, oh. No do, shakara, oh. No do, gotta for me, oh. Girl, you're beautiful. My number one in tutu, sipping bruku tutu. For your love it tutu, I go chuku. Gotta for say you do me, cause I'm feeling my number one. You say no. I go chuku. If I tell you, say I love you, oh. My money, my body, now your own, oh baby. 30 billion for the account, yo. Yeah. Versace and Gucci for your body, oh baby. No do, gotta for me. No do, say that, oh. No do, shakara, oh. No do, gotta for me, oh. Girl, you're beautiful too. My number one in tutu, sipping bruku tutu. For your love it tutu, I go chuku. Biko obianuju, say you do me juju, cause I'm feeling the juju. Shake it to you, take it. I wanna dash it to you, take it. You can have it.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the platform with me, Mama Sewa. I hope you've all had a wonderful week this week. Do you have anything exciting to tell me? I am going to open up the phone lines for you to tell me about your week. What's been great? What's been exciting? What's not been so good? What have you discovered? Anything, you can call me up. I've got a young man in the studio with me today. Say hello. Is that it? Where's the hype? No hype. All right. I have to hype this guy up. Honestly. So today I've got Stephen in the studio with me. Thank you very much for coming in. We've been like having a little conversation. I've been saying, come on, got to come on the show. And today, this young man decided to grace the studio with his presence. Wait. Where's the hype? Honestly. Like, oh, yeah. Are we excited?
Yeah, I'm very excited. Trust me. Yeah.
So
I've been looking forward to. We've got some interesting topics for you today.
you've got interesting topics for me.
Yeah.
All right, okay. So I was going to introduce it, but I'll let you introduce it yourself. And would you like to introduce yourself?
Very much put me on the spot.
Yeah.
Yes, my name's Stephen, and I guess to get straight to it, what we're going to talk about today, I guess, will be the journey of a young black male who, I guess, maybe 15 years ago, can't believe I'm talking about that kind of timescale, didn't see a life with much in it beyond the estate that I grew up in, and the individuals that I was with. Life moved on from there. A lot of things happened, or ups and downs, but I think I have a story which isn't too different to the majority of black boys until you reach a particular part where I ended up on a springboard that took me into another direction. I'd like to share my story because I think there's some lessons that I've learned from it, and hopefully some lessons other people can take away from it, about how you give opportunity to young males in general who come from working class backgrounds. Actually, it's not just about young black males, it's young males coming from working class backgrounds, and how you engender that social mobility. It's very difficult to do, I think, but with a few positive steps you get there. Is that good?
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So,
It's natural.
okay, that's good. I'm going to open up the phone lines. We're going to hear a bit more from you, but I'm going to give out the phone number to everyone. Like, if at any point you want to call in, you want to ask a question, the studio line number, if you're calling from the UK, is 0203 002 8482. Now, took my time because people tell me that when I'm giving out the number, I give it out too quickly. So again, that's 0203 002 8482. And if you're calling from anywhere else in the world and you've got some internet access, you've got WhatsApp, you can WhatsApp us on 0044 or +44 203 002 8482. That's +44 203 002 8482. You can also get in touch on FireLiveTV on Facebook and also on YouTube. You are listening to Mama Sewa on Fire Live Radio, and Stephen is here. Yay! I should get one of those, like, the clapping or the drum roll. Yeah, I should do that.
Try this stuff.
I need to sort myself out, really and truly.
Let's get ready.
That's it. That's the hype. That's the hype.
Right.
So, young man.
Yes.
Right, so I know a bit about this story, but I'm going to let you tell everybody. So let's start from the age of, say, 13.
Yeah.
Obviously, you were in school. You were a teenager. What was going on at this point?
So I think 12, 13, that kind of age is really interesting because it's where you basically have the first opportunity to start being a bit naughty, basically. You know what I mean? You leave the house alone. Your mum's not really too much on your back. You didn't live in the world that we live in now where you had a mobile phone. So I guess my mum was on my back as I was leaving the house and when I came back. But in the period when I was outside, you could be absolutely anything but you wanted to. It's also the point at which, like, school steps up. So I think school starts getting a bit harder. Things start becoming a bit more difficult. And you're growing. You're going through puberty. You're getting a bit taller. You start thinking about girls. So your entire psyche and your whole dynamic is starting to change. And when I was 13 years old, so I was born in Camberwell. I was born in South London, so not too far from where we are right now.
South, that is South.
We love it. But born in South, lived in South for the early years of my life. But there's those kind of formative years, or the beginning of my formative years. So the kind of the beginning of my teens, we ended up in North London for a variety of reasons. But it was super interesting when I look back at it because I can just see the way my life started going off the rails, and like my friends started making bad choices, mostly driven by the environment in which we grew up in. So we grew up. I don't know if any of you have been around that kind of area, that Harlesden, Willesden, Neasden area.
I actually grew up in like Stonebridge, Harlesden.
Yeah.
So I wasn't far away.
We're talking similar stories. There we go.
But it's very different. But go on, I'll tell mine. Go on.
Yeah. But I think for me it's things were like, I don't know, things were on top, things were sticky, whatever terminology you want to use. And you started seeing that. I look back and there was nothing in the area. Every single person that was doing well wasn't doing anything that was particularly beneficial in a societal term, if you know what I mean. So it very much benefited them. You could argue that it had like a net negative societal impact. I'm not going to try and implicate anybody in anything, but there was a lot of crime in the area, and you start kind of realizing there were negative role models all over the place. So in my eyes, the things that you did to succeed were things which I look at now as like kind of not the right choices to make in life, and I'm not going to get into any of that, but you end up with a lot of friends who at that age begin changing. They find themselves on road. Some people won't know what on road means. I've not put my thing on Instagram. Maybe you've got some new people joining in who don't normally join into this kind of thing, but but people were out on road. So I don't know, people start doing up road, people start scuffing in school. It just got a bit crazy, and I went from being like kind of your average student who grew up in the average home for that neighbourhood, which I now know isn't the average home at all whatsoever in the UK.
No.
And my life just started slipping. I just became a bad youth. There's no other way of putting it. I could say I was a bad kid, whatever. I was just a bad youth. I was a bit of a
bad kid.
I was a bit naughty. I'm not. Again, I won't get into the entirety of it, but at that kind of age, you make a lot of mistakes. And you do a lot of things that you look back at and you wonder, who was I, what was I doing? Anyway, a bunch of stuff happened, and my mum made the decision for us to move to country. So somewhere in Hampshire, in South England, so a place called Basingstoke. And actually, like, things didn't actually change that much thinking about it. So I started realising, I think there's one element. There's the area in which you're growing up in, and the impact that has, but actually it's just like class. So like there's the racial issues, there's general class issues, and moving from a deprived area in North London through to a relatively deprived area in Hampshire, the troubles kind of continued, if you know what I mean. So it was, yes, someone wasn't getting stabbed in the corner around from you. People weren't getting found in school with knives, which I think some people don't realise about growing up in these neighbourhoods. It's not a weird thing for a bunch of people to come to your school and just rush everyone. It's not a weird. It's really not. If you know what I mean. People don't realise these kinds of things. I don't know about now, but I know about when I was going. When I'm talking about 15 years ago, I'm talking about kind of 2003, so the early 2000s. These things weren't odd at all. So some of that stuff kind of got eliminated, but it's just like deprivation, if you know what I mean. And that's what I started realising. But like, or what I realise now, a lot of the circumstances just caused by there's no access to social mobility whatsoever. You haven't got any positive role models in your life. You have no one to guide you, and I think that the thing that I see even more and more now is that like there's a lack of a father figure in there. So someone to give you that direction, someone to give you that guidance, someone to teach you how to be like a man, if you know what I mean, and not to be a boy. To make the long-term choices that are going to put your life in the right place rather than making those negative short-term choices. Anyway, cutting a long story short, I ended up 16. I had, again, not been the best kid in school through my time in Basingstoke. Anyone from Basingstoke, I was just about, anyone truly knows I was just about while I was in school. And got my GCSE results, took them home. I did ridiculously well compared to the effort that I put in, and it was still terrible. It was terrible. I got the 5 A to C's just about. Got an A, B, 3 C's, 4 D's, and an E.
I mean, that's not terrible.
It's not
there were
terrible.
a couple of A's in there, no?
There was a single A. There was an A, there was a B.
Okay.
And I'm like, you're a bad boy now. Of course I was going to get an A in business. What are you talking about? Is this, do we even need to wake up?
Niger.
And Again, I won't get into detail. I think there's a lot of things I'll keep on saying I won't get into detail about. If you know me,
Seriously,
you know
you're gonna have to get into a little bit of detail.
With the, I don't know, I wouldn't have got 5 A to C's if it wasn't for certain individuals who were around me who went, you have some potential, but you can't see within yourself, and I'm going to put disproportionate help in.
That's good.
To help you out. So like, two of those 3 C's was science.
Okay, double
Something
science.
very positive happened to me, and I'm not going to get into it, but yeah, it really, really helped out. So I found myself in a circumstance where I would have finished school with an A, a B, 1 C, 6 D's, and an E, and 2 of those D's managed to become C's through, like, you know what I mean, just through me being fortunate enough to have good people around me who were willing to help out, where I now look back and don't understand why they did that. But yeah, that was the start of me thinking, maybe I should do something here, because alongside all the nonsense I was doing, I had this like arrogance inside me where like I thought, oh, you're guaranteed to do well. There's 0 chance I'm not going to do well. Like, man don't need to do any work. Man don't need to read well. You're just going to do okay. It's going to be fine.
It's gonna roll up and be okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. I thought, hey, listen, I was rolling up to that. You don't understand. It was the arrogance. Like, it was the arrogance. Like, I wasn't going to school a lot. So at that point, I wasn't like turning up to. I wasn't going to school every day. Like, you leave your house to
You
go
were
to school in the morning.
bunking. Where were you going?
Because there's a park in Basingstoke called the War Memorial Park, and like you just meet up. You'd meet up with people there.
Or the bunkers.
Well, yeah, or you thingy. There was like a little hole in the fence at school. It wasn't a very big hole, but what people would end up doing is, as you're yanking it and letting people out every single day, eventually the fence just starts curling up. So like you just realise, but when lunchtime comes,
Everybody's gone.
just duck. Yeah, lunchtime will come and you just duck, and then at first, I don't know, around like year 9. So I moved to Basingstoke around year 9. Around year 9, you're tentative, so you'll duck out at lunch. You'll come back in right near the end of lunch. Maybe you'll miss tutor after lunch or whatever it is. By the time you're on year 10 and year 11, I'm not coming back. What are you going to do? And the teacher's not going to say anything to you, but it's going to compel you to stay in the class. You treat me like a failure. You look at me like I'm a failure. You tell me I'm going to fail. What inspiration is that in my life? So every day I come to this building where you sequentially, like, I'm descending through the sets over time, where you're going, no, you're kind of smart. Oh, you spoke too much today. Go down a set.
Oh.
Okay, cool. You didn't turn up to class today. Go down a set. So eventually you're taking an individual who has some kind of potential but can't conform at that age, and you're going, you know what? Your end life outcome's going to be really, really poor due to a set of actions you're taking at an age where you lack the ability to understand what you're actually doing. But we won't even go down there for now. We'll come back to that probably. But yeah, even though I wasn't going to school, even though I found myself in terrible sets, even though my attainment through mock exams and that kind of stuff was non-existent because I didn't even turn up for them,
wow.
I expected to do well, and that was a massive
Zero
thing for me.
effort.
Zero effort, yeah.
100% result, yeah?
100%
100% result and no effort.
Well, the result wasn't actually that good, but you know what I mean. I look back at it and I think about like what could have happened if I had paid some attention. Would have been a completely different circumstance. But yeah, I went back home, showed my mum the results. I don't know if any of you are Nigerian African. When you take those kind of results home, yeah, especially when you take them home with a smile like I did, where I managed to convince myself by the time I got home it was still fine. My whole mum, but moved to this country, pregnant with me to give me opportunity, but it's lived a life, but it's beneath the quality which she could have had back home in Nigeria to give me opportunity. And this is what I'm bringing back to you. This is a demonstration of what the last 16 years of your effort has amounted to. I got beat that day, boy.
You got beat?
It was very real. I had, you know, for me, you hit like, as a guy, I don't know, it might be different for some of the girls, but listening, I don't know. As a guy, like when you're that kind of age, like your mum hadn't beat me for say years, for years at that point.
But you were going to get it.
When Omorogun comes out, yeah, oh boy, you don't want to see Omorogun. It's real. But
what's a Morogo? Is it the stick?
The spoon, man. It's the spoon.
Oh.
Yeah, it's the spoon. But you know, the
wooden spoon.
You normally aim below the neck. This wasn't one of those days.
Yay.
No, I'm playing. My mum didn't do anything like this. I know, but it's 2018 and you're not allowed to discipline your children. So we won't talk about these things. But yeah, I think there was that element of it, but there was also the transitioning element. So at this point, just to summarize everything, like I've messed up in school in North London. My mum's made the decision to move away from the area to give me some hope. moved to the countryside where my sister happened to live in Basingstoke, and rather than things improving, things have got worse. I've now become someone who doesn't really go to school, who doesn't pay attention. I'm kind of years behind my peers. I don't understand I didn't understand what was happening in class. I didn't turn up. I was at times like doing negative things. So like going to school, we'd meet in the park, we'd drink, we'd have a few shots of like rare nephews before school.
Wow.
Stupid things like that, if you know what I mean. Like exams that you turned up to where you're like, I'm inebriated, I shouldn't be here when I look back at it. But I don't know how some of these outcomes ended up the way that they did, and I've got to be thankful for it. You know, I don't know. I don't believe everything happens for a reason, but I think like I've been very, very fortunate. And yeah, like your mum sitting down with you and just taking you through that journey of why she's here, and the fact that it's you, and the things that she's done, and how she's given her life up. I think for me was like a really it was hard. It was insightful. You know those times where you really do shed tears when someone talks to you like that. And you start realizing it puts it all into perspective. But I've got one life, and she has one life, and she's made so many choices during that one life, with a sole kind of objective of enabling me to have a better one than she had.
Yeah.
And now she's watching all of those choices manifest to nothing whatsoever. I mean, I've got to give. I respect my mum, and I love my mum so much, because I think it's you don't realize it when you're young, the amount of pressure and the amount of strain that they go through. It's when you're a similar age. Like, I guess I'm younger than she was when she had me. She had me quite old, but it's when you realize the concerns I have now. I mean, I'm in my late 20s, and I have some like serious concerns about like the future and what you're gonna do, etc. And I'm not even in a bad place, and I still go through those issues. How do you feel when you're raising, say, 2 children at that point, before she had my little sister? So 2 children or 3 children, you're working multiple jobs. At the same time as working multiple jobs, you're trying to do your degree. You're living in a country that's not really accepting of you and your accent. So every single place that you go to, you get treated poorly. And then after all of that effort you've put in, after grinding for those years, after earning salaries, but like I look back at it and I'm like, I can't believe I used to ask you for stuff, knowing the salaries you were making, knowing now the salary that you made. Your son ends up with that outcome. So like, I look back at it, and that was the day that it deeped to me, really, really deep to me. And like I spoke to myself. I'm not going to make it, it wasn't anything profound. I just kind of went upstairs, I sat there, my face was hurting, and I knew from that day that my life was going to change. I knew my life was going to change, and I knew my life was going to change quite significantly, because that just wasn't something I was going to let happen.
Was it the emotional part of it that got you? Because, you know, like seeing your mum cry or really upset and hurt is, I think, one of the worst things like a child can kind of witness. So was that what kind of gave you the turnaround?
I think so, yeah, I think so. It just made it really real for me. And it made it really real, but it wasn't just myself I was letting down.
Yeah.
It made it really clear to me that somebody has invested so much effort into your life, and you are literally slapping them in the face on a daily basis. Yeah, like it wasn't. Again, like beyond. I mean, besides school, I look at the stuff that I was doing. So like, I'm not showing you respect in the household. I'm leaving the house whenever I want to. I'm coming back whenever I want to. I'll just go and stay at my friend's house for the entire weekend and come back. I'm 15 years old, 16 years old at this time.
Are you mad?
You start looking back at it and you're thinking, how was I doing this stuff? Like, how was I actually
and getting away with it?
Well, you're not getting away with it. That's the point, right? You're not getting away with it, but there's no father in the house, so your mum's going to shout at you, your mum's going to tell you not to do it, and inevitably, because of where you are, because of how you feel about yourself, because of the social circumstances that you're in, and because your family ends up being the people outside of your house, they end up being those friends that you've got out on road, those are the people you want to be around. They're the people who, collectively, you're going through this thing together. Like, you're going through the same trials, the same tribulations, you're treated in the same way by your peers in school, especially when we were either working. When you move to Basingstoke, I guess there's like different groups of individuals. There's like the middle class individuals in school, relatively affluent, doing okay. There's the working class individuals, of which like the majority of mixed race black kids in Basingstoke will be part of as well. And like, you band together because you just band together. You're just going through the same kind of stuff. And I'm not talking about it from some deep emotional perspective where we sat there and went, oh yeah, bro, like I'm gonna help you. It's not like that, if you know what I mean. It's just at all ages, whether you're a child, whether you're an adult, you gravitate towards people who are similar to you, and we just knew each other's lives way better than other people did. So yeah, you want to be around those people, and they're the people who, yeah, it's a family basically. It's a family. It's friends you want to be around on a daily basis, and yeah, so it was just, yeah, it was a really eye-opening moment, and I think it was the first time that the penny really dropped. But right, your mum's really doing a lot for you, like in a way you can't understand.
Yeah.
And her doing a lot for you doesn't manifest as a PS3. It manifests as those years of effort she put in, where she literally sacrificed her life to give you opportunity. So,
Yeah. Wow, that's kind of deep.
kind of deep.
So at this point, your friends, you were saying that you were all banding together,
Yeah.
and you all being naughty, being bad boys,
Yeah.
and girls together. Were there any girls in this group, by the way?
Yeah, there's girls around. Yeah, there's girls around. There's boys and girls. There's a combination of both.
Okay, all right. So, what do you think made your friends fall into the lives that they did? Because by the sound of it, you were kind of on the verge. You were doing the drinking and all of that, but you weren't getting into the deep stuff. So, what do you think made your friends actually fall into that kind of life?
I mean, I'm not pretending to be a saint. I'm not going to go into the entirety of stuff, but yeah, I think all of us made choices which were suboptimal. But for the people who found themselves in worse circumstances, or the people who just like continued, I think it was like to try and be like, I'll try and be slow with this one, but I think it was from a young age you realise no one really cares about you, apart from the people in your household.
Is that you realise or you think nobody cares about you? What is it? Which one?
I had a period of time where I thought the answer was think. I think it's now, but you realise, like you start quickly and easily realising that individuals that come from the places you come from the estates that you come from, you don't achieve. And yes, part of it is a limiting belief that you have, but the other element of it is society isn't rooting for you. They are when it comes to the graduate schemes, trying to have a diversity program or trying to enable kids who come from backgrounds where they used to have free school meals into the organisation. But there's such a disparity between where you are at that point, you don't know those things exist, and where the world finally wants to give you opportunity. When you're a young boy and you have a difficult circumstance at home, or you have a single parent who's working incredibly hard, this is going to manifest in your behaviour. It's going to manifest in your attainment in school, and it just feels like everyone around you is continually letting you know that you're a bit of a failure. Everyone around you is letting you know that things aren't going to go well. You have parents who are working incredibly hard, so they're never in the household. Because, like, if I think about parents, like, it wasn't an odd thing for your parent to be working, either a lot of overtime, or be working two jobs simultaneously, while a lot of the time trying to do something else. So you've got a lot of time where there's no one around you. And in those instances, it's really hard for like things like education, etc., to be seen as important to you. And again, like on the estates in which you're growing up in, the areas in which you're growing up in, every single person that you see do well hasn't done well through following some legitimate mean, or even if it's not a legitimate mean. Like if you think about, there's a whole raft of illegitimate stuff you can do. I leave it to everyone's imaginations to work out what those things are. But there's the legitimate things which are really low probability of success, but are the things that people from those environments do. So you'll all know 2 or 3 boys who went on to go and play football for some kind of football club, and in your mind you're like, well, that can be a route out. If you can't get ball, well, what about music? So I used to like think, I used to MC when I was young, and that was something which all of us did, like nearly everybody did, whether you were good or not. Nearly everybody MC, because again, that was a route out. So like, and I don't think we thought about it like that, but it's the thing that you can do. And it's something that you can be good at and you collectively come together at, but other people aren't good at. It's a thing that we can do but they can't do. And it's culture as well, I guess. So like beyond that, it's culture. Like it's actual culture. It's what makes us us. And I don't look back at my childhood and look back at those years with like any kind of disdain, if you know what I mean. I like the life that I've lived so far. I don't wish for another life whatsoever. A few of the decisions that I've made, I always think, potentially could have made better ones at a younger age. Like, could you have done better at school? Yes. Would that have had impact on my life? Probably yes. But otherwise, I think I'm quite proud of the upbringing that I had. But to bring it back to the question that you actually asked, That's what it is. Yeah, I think it's being forgotten about, not having any positive role models around you, having a lot of negative role models around you, and also there just not being enough services available for you. If you come from an affluent background, you've got something to do every single day of summer holidays. Your parents will be able to take back 2 weeks off and go on holiday with you and fulfill your desire to do something interesting. You'll have a bunch of books in the house that you can read. You'll have a childminder who comes over to spend time with you, or you'll have a club that you go to through the daytimes. You'll become a Girl Scout, Boy Scout, you go football training. There's some kind of productive means which is also entertaining for you to go through. Whereas if you don't come from that background, your parents wish they could send you somewhere. They can't. So you end up sat in that house, you're walking around for weeks on end during a summer holiday doing absolutely nothing whatsoever. It's really difficult. Like, these are kids of, and that's what I hate when I see coverage in the media. Kids of 13, 14, 15-year-olds, 15 years old, they're stood out on the estate in the middle of a summer holiday, and people are walking past. What degenerates. What are they supposed to do?
Yeah.
Just sit in their flats doing nothing whatsoever.
Yeah.
The logical choice to make if you're a 13-year-old and your
outside.
parents aren't there and your friends are out there is to get up off your butt and go stand out there with them, because they have a much better time doing that than you walk for 6 weeks staring at a wall. So it's not a bad choice to make, and I think that the combination of those different things are what lead to people slowly over time going down avenues they shouldn't go down. And then again, like, you can, in an environment where there's not a lot of money, where a lot of people aren't doing that well, you find some disingenuous means of being able to amass what relatively is a large amount of wealth at a quite young age, if you know what I mean. So if you're making a couple £100 a week at 15,
Carry on.
If you're making a couple £100 at 15, 16, 17 years old a week, whatever it is, to you that is like, that's nirvana.
That's
perfect.
amazing.
Yeah, it's great. Like, everyone else is going to school, everyone else is going to college. I can go and buy like these clothes. I can go and do this thing. Inevitably, like, if you're a boy or you're a girl, whatever, the opposite gender is relatively shallow at that kind of age. So it makes you more attractive, it makes you more appealing, it makes you more attainable. And the only things you really care about at those kind of ages is being, well, unless you've been taught not to, the only things you care about are like being cool.
Yeah.
Pretty much being cool, fitting in with the social group with which you affiliate yourself with.
All right. So I've got some comments on Facebook.
Yeah.
So Nay, my twin from another mother, says that,
Really?
Thanks, Stephen, for sharing your story. I'm sure we'll all take notes. As a mother raising boys and used to live in northwest London as well, I can imagine your mum's pain. So that's Nay. And Anita says, what kick-started your bad behaviour, young man?
For me, well, that's a good question. That's one I haven't thought about a lot. I can't pinpoint a single thing. I think it was, difficulties in the household, not driven by like anyone's actions, just driven by like the toll that living in that kind of poverty takes on an individual. So like, it becomes
what it is.
Everything becomes a chore. Like, you have to do this thing, you have to do this thing, you have to do this thing.
Come on.
I'm looking out and I'm thinking, but the man them are right there doing this thing.
Yeah.
And he's got a nice car. So actually, I want to go out there and I want to stand with them. Albeit I don't want to get involved in what they're doing or whatever it is. I want to be out there and I want to be around them because they're really, really cool. And I think it's the age at which a father figure would have made such a difference. Yeah. The age at which, like, a father figure, having, like, I had a really strong uncle in the country, we're going to move him back to Nigeria, but even if he was around, that could have made some kind of difference, if you know what I mean. And I think that it's like, it's so cliche to say, like, I used to listen to it when I was growing up, like, father figure, and literally be like, come on, you man,
whatever.
I don't need a dad. And you start looking at it now, and I think that I don't need a dad isn't even an argument. Is there someone who can straighten you out when you're bending to the will of those around you? If there's not that individual there, it's really, really difficult for you to stay on a straight and narrow. When the examples around you, but staying on a straight and narrow doesn't lead to positive outcome. And also, you get called a neek.
You get called a what?
You get called a neek. You get called a neek, you're a nerd, whatever it is. Like, focusing on staying on a straight and narrow, you find yourself in... you find yourself getting buoyed by the very people you want to be around. So then, I don't know, you start literally sabotaging yourself by going, I'm not going to class. People are going to say I'm a neek if I go to class, I'm not going to go. You're young.
So it's also peer pressure as well, it sounds like.
Well, no one pressure. That's the thing. No one pressure. You pressure yourself. It is peer pressure, but to an extent, no one pressures you. You pressure yourself. And there's a lot of people who go through these circumstances who don't make the choices that I made as well. So there's a lot of people who come from working class backgrounds who go through school, attain really well, escape the environment, and do good things. But I think for the majority of us, yeah, there's a lot of reasons why you won't do well. Lack of resource, like as well. I think lack of resource. So just being like poor, if you know what I mean. Like that was a word which you would never say in my house. I don't know, if you're in an African household, you will
You
never
are not
talk
poor.
about being poor. That's not something you speak about. That's not something you'd admit to. But you look back at it, and my mum tried her best, and she provided for all of us all the time. I never went wanting as a child. Like she always put the kids first. But you're growing up like poor, and you start to realise it, and you're resentful, and yeah, I don't know. There's a whole bunch of factors. I reckon I could talk for 2 hours about that, and probably have another 2 hours to go afterwards. But it's a really good question.
So basically, what was going on out there was it looked good to you.
Yeah.
Basically, that
Yeah.
whilst mum was, doing her best to provide for you,
Yeah.
she wasn't getting you the brand new trainers, the brand new joggers, or whatever.
Yeah.
So if there was an opportunity out there that looked fairly easy,
Yeah.
you would, okay, that's fair
It makes
enough.
sense, and I think, but you find yourself in circumstances where, yeah, like even if it wasn't about the trainers or whatever it was, it's just a case of you want to feel good about yourself in a society which, when you're a young, poor black male, doesn't make you feel good about yourself. Like you see, that's the age as well, which you start to really realize how different you are. It was actually not too bad growing up in North London, because you really like.
North Wales, it was alright.
It was alright, yeah. It's not too bad at all, and like there's a massive, there's so much culture around there. Loads of Bangladeshis around, like Carlsden. Loads of loads of Caribbeans, quite a few Africans as well. Move towards like
It was a nice melting pot.
yeah, super crazy melting point there. And, it's really, really good to be around that, because yeah, multiculturalism is kind of the way of life up there, which is good. But you still start to realise like the distinction in regards to the way people are treated, the way that you're looked at, like the things people do, the way people act when you're walking past them. Yeah, it's certainly, it makes a small difference. And those small differences, they kind of compound on each other until the day you turn around and you're like, you might have don't like me because I'm black.
Is it because I'm black though?
That's what I mean.
So, all right, Nay's got a bit to say. She said, what is it with boys that age? Yeah, ask this guy, he knows. She said, so Nay's recently moved from northwest London to Birmingham.
Yeah.
And she said, hearing you say those things, was worse after moving, and it really scared her.
Yeah.
So she definitely resonates with that. But well done for turning your back on all of that. So what I want to know actually is, how did you manage to avoid it? Because you said that, after mum was crying about your nonsense results and all of that, you started kind of taking stock and thinking, there's got to be more. But as a 16-year-old, there's only so much that you can kind of do for yourself. Was there like a role model? Did somebody step in and were like, you know what, my friend, stop this nonsense, give you a few slaps and sort you out? What happened?
I wish there was that. That would have made life a lot faster and easier. But there was actually. So my life's just been full of like some very fortunate circumstances that have enabled me to kind of transcend the environment and the scenarios in which I grew up in. But I think it's going to my college open day. I had no idea what I wanted to do. So they send you like a list of these are all the A levels available at our college. I sat in that chair and when the individual opened that book in front of me and said, okay, so which of these do you want to do? That was the first time I'd seen the list. I was just making up what I wanted to do on the spot. So I was like, psychology, right, that sounds interesting. My might just bet that. I ended up studying psychology. Boom, you know what? Business. Well, I've got an A in business. I can do that one. Boom, took that. And this is literally, I'm not, it may seem that I'm kind of like doing this in jest. That's literally kind of my decision-making hierarchy right now. I was like, boom, my psychology sounds interesting, I'm going to do that.
Okay.
Business, I got an A in that, I want to back that.
Nigerian.
Wanted to do philosophy.
Yeah.
The guy looked at me like, at that point, he's already seen my reasoning. He's like, this guy can't argue effectively, this guy can't reason. He's like, don't do philosophy. And just by chance, he happened to be one of the economics lecturers or tutors at the college.
Yeah.
And said, if you really like business, you should consider economics.
Okay.
My mom studied economics, you know. She told me about that, the naira deflating and that kind of stuff. And the guy was looking at me like, this boy really needs to just
Sit down.
just get out of here. And whatever you do, it's not going to make a difference. You're going to fail anyway. You kind of see that look
no.
in his face. And then I left. Went back to college. Started my course. Start of college again. Like I was so determined I was going to do well. Like I can't explain how determined I was. It was
a new drive, new fire in you.
It was a fire that fire lasted for about say 5-6 years until I finished uni. That fire was truly burning within me, where I was like, never again in my life do I want to open an envelope and feel that, because again, by the time I went back home with my GCSE results, I convinced myself they were fine.
Were you not scared? Were you not shaking? Like, did you not know that wooden spoon was going to come out?
In all honesty, that kind of, we probably were just drinking, right? You get your A-level, your GCSE results, everyone goes and does drinking in the park, the same park we're bunking in. You're going back home, you're a bit merry, whatever. And again, like, I've got to think about the people I'm around. I actually did quite well relative to the people I'm around, if you know what I mean. You got an A in business. What do you mean?
Oh, my nature.
Everyone's happy, everyone's excited for you, you know what I mean? Whereas your mum's seeing it from a more holistic perspective and thinking about, well, actually, what does this mean for your overall life chances? What does it mean for you being a doctor or whatever ambitions you decided, but whatever career you're going to follow through?
Yeah.
But I went to my economics class after starting college, and the first lesson, I was just chucking beef at the teacher so much.
What?
I was just chucking beef, not literal beef, but he was talking about supply and demand.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much you don't know about economics. Supply and demand inevitably, like, eventually will affect currency markets, but the link is very, very, like, we won't even get into it. The link isn't really there, especially at that kind of junior level of economics. He's talking about demand and demand curves. I'm in the class going, but my mum told me that the British came over, and when we got independence, you decimated the naira. It's your fault. And he's there thinking, I'm trying to teach you demand, and you basically turned this class into, I'm going to rant about how the UK and colonial forces have decimated the economies of African nations without having any underlying understanding of how economics works whatsoever. And he held me back at the end of that class, and he spoke to me, and it was the first time in my life where someone had, like, it actually makes me like, it makes me, like, in a nice way, feel very emotional thinking about this. The first time in my life, someone had seen a trait within me and told me about the positive of that trait. And he was talking about, like, the confidence and the bravery and the ability to say those things, and how he didn't think they were the right things to potentially say at that moment in time. But that's what you need to do. You need to, like, that's what economics is. It's thinking, it's having a perspective and analysing to see whether or not that perspective holds true. It's trying to understand the world around you and the forces that make human beings act in the manner in which they act. Which a lot of people don't see economics as. They see it as it's all about money, it's about markets. Markets are just the aggregation of people. So it's actually about individual human psychology being scaled upwards. But he went
for it.
Bloody tried of me. He really, really tried of me, and he put in place the circumstances and the extra time for me to, like, basically make up that ground but I'd lost. And you can't teach me to be good at every subject. At the end of the day, you're an economics teacher, but he really, really made that time, and he believed in me in a way but no one had ever believed in me in my entire life. It was outside of my family. Like, he just believed in me, and I don't know what I did to deserve that.
That was a nice feeling. It was a warm feeling.
It was a nice feeling. Like, it was, and it just progressed over time. So, like, by the time I got to the mid-year, at college, and again, like, I told myself I never want to open a envelope and feel bad. At this point, it's not envelopes, right? But it's email you or give you paper with your results on it. And I remember that first, I was doing three A-levels at that moment in time. And I remember getting the result paper and looking down at it and thinking, shit, I was upset. I got 2 A's and a B in my S's. I was upset. And that's when I realised I changed. It's like, I've gone from being able to convince myself going back home with these grades, of which some of it I don't even deserve because people have helped me out, and then I'm now in a circumstance where I'm like, this isn't enough. Like, I'm working hard, and I've got this individual who, he believes in me, and I've been working really, really hard, and I think the B was in economics. So for me, I felt sad to go back to him and to say, like, this is what I
just
got.
A B.
Whereas he's looking at me like,
wow,
have you done this one? Like, he's looking at me all excited, and I'm thinking, that's great. Someone in our class got a U in the exam.
Oh.
And one of the people, this person, I still talk to them once in a while, so I'm not going to name their name, but this person came over to me, and this is one of the second moments. But this is what really, if I had a fire but was lit within me, yeah, this individual has poured kerosene, petrol, natural gas, everything all over it at that moment in time. Came over to me and he's like, "It's you, but got the you in it."
Oh.
That's one of the best things that happened in my life. Because at that moment, I was like, so not only have I always felt that people expect you to fail, you actually sat in front of me as my peer, who's my age group, that sits in my college class, talking to me about getting a U. Like, you actually have no respect for my ability to think effectively, to attain anything. Like, you genuinely are looking at me like, who's a stupid black boy in our class? And that for me was another inflection point, because it was that first time where it's like, actually, I'm doing all right here. Actually, I know this guy believes in me a little bit, and I can push myself through and I can do well. And then another circumstance moving on from there is, so I ended up finishing the year getting an A across all 3 subjects.
Well done, well done.
It was good. And picked up maths, because I realised, but actually I want to do economics now, and to do economics effectively you have to do maths. I picked up maths A-level in the final in my second year, just to drive it really, really quickly forward and get into a good university, because you just can't do economics at a good university without maths. And we get into our second year, this individual, Andy, made me the head of our Target 2.0 economics team. And people won't know what Target 2.0 is. It's the Bank of England challenge. So your college, you pick 4 people from your college to go to the Bank of England and to pitch to basically pitch what they think the Bank of England's interest rate should be, as set by the Monetary Policy Committee. So you're pretending to be the Monetary Policy Committee basically. A whole me. 2 years ago, I'm thinking I didn't even know how to speak effectively. Like, I didn't even know how to communicate. I had to communicate effectively. I'd never really spoken to people outside of my demographic before, ever, until that point. And now I'm going to the Bank of England to go and present to members of the MPC, which is like, to me, like, I genuinely cannot believe this. Like, for context, the governor of the Bank of England now, like Mark Carney, he heads up the MPC, for example, in the Bank of England. You weren't talking to that kind of individual, but you have like one individual from the MPC sat down with you, talking to your team. So for me, that was really, really inspiring. And again, it's like someone like that giving you that opportunity and kind of giving you that springboard to do something like that. And then I ended up like just getting, again, that was like another driving force for me, where it's like, no, now I'm in a position where like not only am I realizing I can read a book and translate it into paper, but actually like I'm not some like individual that can't fit into this world.
You can.
That Bank of England building, that was really scary to me, but I'd seen before on a bus while going past in London. Like you're in that now.
That's it.
And I think actually that wasn't in that building, to be fair. That's another circumstance I'm thinking about, but still we went to go see the MPC elsewhere, or member, and a member of, sorry, not the MPC, but a member of, and the rest of the panel was there. But yeah, I get to the end of college, and like, cut a long story short, you're leaving college with 4 A's. Like, they're putting you in the newspaper in the area because you've done so well.
Wow.
For me, again, that was a moment where I was like, okay, now we're going to go to uni and get first class. That's it. And part of it was wanting to do well, and part of it was wanting to prove those people wrong my entire life who had looked at me like I couldn't achieve something. But I just knew that feeling, and I will always draw back to that individual who came over, and when that was you, but got that you. That's what society has been doing to me for the entirety of my life. I've been looked at by people as you're that guy who's going to fail based on the way you look.
Hold on, we've got a call coming through. Hello, caller. Can we get headphones on?
Can you hear them?
Hello, caller. Hello. Hello, Irish Fish Contemporary.
I can hear them.
Hello. 6009. We can hear your TV. Oh.
Hold on.
Hello.
Hold on, we've got a call coming through. Hello, caller.
I can hear myself.
Hello, caller.
Hello.
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 Can you turn
Hello,
down your Yeah, I can hear a feed. Have you got your TV on or something? Oh, I think that was Deben. You can call back. We could hear you, but I could also hear a feed. But do call back. Carry on. Oh, he's trying to call me on my phone. Please call back on the... let me see if we can do this. Hello.
Hello, Sheila. It was me calling.
Yeah, so I'm trying to get you on the mic so people can hear you. So go on. Go ahead.
Do you want me to call back?
Yes, please, if you don't mind. We can hear you, but it was just there was a feed in the back. So,
Okay. So, my question is for Stephen.
can you hear, Stephen?
I can hear.
You can hear it?
Yeah.
All right, carry on.
Yeah. Well, Stephen, thank you so much for sharing your story. I'm sure there's a lot more in the tank. I'm just slightly curious, you know, that the boys you kind of grew up with and the bonds and the friendships that you formed, you know, during your teen years, how difficult was it to disengage from those bonds in order to sort of be on the right path? And did you feel at any time that you could have steered them as well, so this wouldn't just be your success, but more of a community success?
That's a really good
Those are my
question.
two questions.
That's a really, really, really good question. I think that naturally, as my focus changed, how I spent my time had to change as well. So by having something more productive to do in my life, I actually it became obsessive. It's kind of like, so now I have this goal, which is getting to a good university. So part of that, given I've got an attainment gap, I've basically done nothing from year 9 to year 11. Is I've now got the drive, I've now got the passion. I'm going to actually have to invest a lot of time to be able to achieve what I want to. I don't want to be somebody who's scraped by now. I want to be a straight A student. I want to go to uni and get a first class. So I ended up spending a lot of time at home, a lot of time studying, and naturally I just had less time being out and about with people. But actually I didn't really, to be honest, until uni, I didn't really disengage any friendships. I just kind of wasn't about as much. On the weekends I'd go out and I'd see people, but I just changed I guess I changed my perspective and became very clear on the circumstances and the situations in which I'd affiliate with people and when I wouldn't. So if there was something productive for us to do, even if the productive thing was just sit in a friend's house, I'd do that. If it's like, actually we're going to stand here with nothing to do or go and do something that's not particularly useful, I wouldn't put myself in those circumstances. So yeah, it was less around disengagement. It was more we'd engage with less frequency, and we would eventually kind of, I guess some of us are falling apart, but the ones who I'm really, really friends with, they know who they are. I see quite regularly still anyway, so quite regularly might be a few times a year, but we're all getting a bit older, and things pull us together. But coming to the second question that you asked, so looking at whether or not you could pull people through, I think to an extent, yeah. So like you try and say stuff, but you end up being really preachy, and you start realizing that everyone's experience is slightly different. So everyone's going through a different experience to the one that you're going through, and not everyone was as fortunate as I was, because there's another element I haven't really touched upon it, and I'll just mention it briefly here, which is my mum. So at a really young age, my mum just invested so much in my education. She gave me this like really, really solid foundation, which basically meant that I could do nothing for 2 years in my school and catch up still. I always tell like stories which are things which are very insignificant early in your life can have a profound difference later on. So like I went to nursery, for example, and my mum always used to tell me this story growing up. You went to nursery and they didn't know what to do with you because you could write and you could read and the other kids couldn't. They didn't want to play, you wanted to read, and they were like, why is he reading like this? So it's like those kinds of that early investment basically meant that I could attain, whereas other individuals, I've got friends who find it difficult to like read effectively. It's not their fault. They didn't choose to be in that circumstance. I can't preach to you about achieving things similar to what I'm achieving when at that moment in time, I mean, when you just haven't been, unfortunately based on your circumstance, taught how to do things which are enablers for that. And again, like the opportunity cost for some of them of stepping away from what they were doing was too great, because what you're doing now is relatively lucrative, whether it's something which is like entertainment based or something which is like you probably shouldn't be doing. The cost of moving away from that and trying to follow some kind of like straight path where you're going to do something which isn't going to be that great for you and probably has no progression path isn't that enticing. So yeah, I basically found myself in a scenario where at first I started sounding preachy, sorry, and then eventually I was like, I'm just going to hold off because I've realised everyone's circumstance is different, and one of the things you can do to try and empower people to move in a certain direction is like lead by example. I don't mean that in a grandiose way. It was like, well, you're trying to work out your stuff. If you do alright, then maybe some other people will do alright as well further down the line. Hopefully that was...
Oh, thank you so much. That's really helpful.
Yeah, good.
So I'm gonna shoot off the line, but I'll be listening to the rest of the show.
Cool.
All
Good.
right.
Thank you for the questions. Wasn't it?
Thank you, Deben.
Thank you.
That was very well answered. Should we listen to some music?
Yeah, let's do it.
Catch yourself, and then we'll come back. So I'm going to play Alamo by the PM. I don't know if you've heard it.
1 2. I shower boss. Charlie. I crush. Okay. It's time that they cause me pain. My limo, my babe, my one champagne. The way she did do me so, I don't need to. My limo makes you no complain. It's time that they cause me pain. My limo, my babe, my one champagne. The way she did do me so, I don't need to. My limo makes you no complain. It's time that they cause me pain. My limo, my babe, my one champagne. The way she did do me so, I don't need to. My limo makes you no complain. There's a thin line between Bay and Bay 4. If I no do the thing well, I go bet flow. The woman be demanding. She said that to me, say I be the last man standing. Anywhere I did take pass, she did take me. I am say I have fetish for feet. Every single morning I did do the push-ups. I did sit on them before I do the sit-ups. I take a small pose, she did take a World Cup. I love my 2 shots, no that in the stand up. Funny thing be say she know they want my money. No, I love my versus Kalahari. Then she go using toy body. This girl won't give me stroke. Started on Facebook with the poke. I make wanted bloke. If I give him deep throat, she go choke. This girl is not a joke. It's time that they cause me pain. My limo, my babe, my one champagne. The way she did do me so, I don't need to. My limo makes you no complain. It's time that they cause me pain. My limo, my babe, my one champagne. The way she did do me so, I don't need to. My limo makes you no complain. It's time that they cause me pain. My limo, my babe, my one champagne. The way she did do me so, I don't need to. My limo makes you no complain.
She gave me the night of my life, contemplating, making her my wife. She badder and sharper than a knife. She be the drive. I love her 2 shots and she there on my team, no. She amazing. My nigga 1 shot and a herb Africo. It's amazing. She said she like the way that I dig deep, oh. She like to put my arm all around her hip, oh. Hey. She ride me, she ride me, she ride me, yo. She ride me, she ride me, she ride me, yo. She drive me.
It's time that they cause me pain. My limo, my babe, my one champagne. The way she did do me so, I don't need to. My limo makes you no complain. It's time that they cause me pain. My limo, my babe, my one champagne. The way she did do me so, I don't need to. My limo makes you no complain. It's time that they cause me pain. My limo, my babe, my one champagne. The way she did do me so, I don't need to. My limo makes you no complain. Me signing it. I don't fear the girl serious. I reach the house front, I know the feet enter safe. Make a pause on my long silver, then go face the team.
Well, thank you for coming back and joining us. Da-na-na-na.
All right.
That was Alamo by the PM. I want to say the guy who produced it, but I can never say the name. It's K Bangit. Bangit, I can't remember. I can see it, but I can't say it. So, it's fine. So back to you, young man. You're doing very well. Thank you for opening up so much and being so honest and truthful with us. I do appreciate it. The audience appreciates it. So I wanted to ask you, so first we knew that when you were being an absolute, I wouldn't say the word, mum wasn't happy, she was sad, you were making her cry, you made your mama cry. Are you happy with yourself?
I'm happy with myself.
Honestly. So now you're doing great, you're getting like A's and a B, which you're upset about. What is mummy then? What is she now saying? Did she back you? Did she put you on her back? What did she do? Did she put you on her head?
She was balancing me. She was doing backflip and spinning at the same time. She was. My mum rode for me during those years. She really rode for me. and I still wasn't making like. I was again like I was doing really really well in college. I wasn't doing anything untowards, but like on the weekends, you're still going out. You're still being a bit like coming back drunk in the middle of, you know what I mean, in the middle of the year,
Oh,
that
mate.
kind of stuff. But that's just normal teenage life, really, to be fair, isn't it? But very much on a straight and narrow towards the end of college, and yeah, my mum really, really kind of backed me. She really, really appreciated the effort, and I think as the conversations that we had, I think it's when you have that sincere a conversation with like a parent, or with any adult actually, because I guess when you're 16, 17, you're not really an adult yet, and you value your word, but in a different way to which you value it as an adult. I can now imagine, like, if my child sat with me and you know what I mean, I'm here crying and they're there saying, I'm going to change, I promise you, like, on your life, I'm going to make this change, and you don't, that's like, that's a massive thing. You don't even realize how big a thing that is. They've basically gone like, you're showing me hope, you've taken it away from me. I think for her it was like, wow, I can really see that you've dedicated, you've dedicated yourself towards achieving the stuff you said you were going to achieve.
Yeah.
And then she was just trying to like minimize downside. I think then she was trying to insulate me from like hurting my own feelings, and they did it the whole way through. Her and my sister did a really good job of doing that through uni and through college as well, where it's like don't feel as if you have to do this though. And by that, it's like, don't feel as if you have to go to college or have to go to uni, but like, you don't have to get straight A's. Like, you don't have to get a first class degree. Like,
But
you don't have
secretly,
to
they
do
did
any
want
of
you
that.
to do.
Secretly, they want you to do it, but I think it was just too unbelievable for them.
All right, hold
It
on,
was-
we're getting a call.
Hey, we have another caller.
We have another caller. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Hello, caller. How
Hello.
are you? Hello. Hello. Oh, caller was probably looking for another person. Carry on, young man.
Yeah, so, you are, yeah, they were basically trying to minimize my downside while maximize my upside. So, like, be happy with how well you're doing, and don't feel sad if you don't achieve these, like, arbitrary, very, very high standards that you've now set yourself after having, I kind of had no track record of being that great academically past the age of, like, 11.
Were they a bit scared?
A little bit, yeah, and I think it was what happens if he doesn't do as well as he thinks he's going to do. What happens if he doesn't achieve these outcomes? And you've still got like.
Hold on, the person's back. Hold on.
Hey, they've gone.
Hello, caller. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, good evening. You're through to the platform.
Hello.
Hello, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Hi, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I can hear you. Hello?
We are listening.
You've got the platform.
Hello.
Hello, we can hear you.
Okay.
Hello? Oh, hello? It's a bit of frustration going on there. I mean, we can hear you, caller, if you're listening. We can hear you.
Yeah. Let's have an
So-
interview. Let's just wait for a minute. Let's see if it comes back.
Should we wait? Should we
Yeah,
have some
we'll wait.
music?
No music. No music. Let's just wait.
Just silence.
Just silence.
Silence is golden.
It's okay.
Do you know that song?
I don't know. I don't.
I think it's, past your time, but yeah. I don't know. I think you should just carry on. When he comes on, I'll just put it through.
There
So
we go. But yeah.
you can put it on. So when he comes on, you just
I'll pick you back up.
okay, go
He
on.
said, I think I was talking about, just like trying to minimize that downside risk.
Yeah.
And I think a bit of me, I mean, I did the same thing as well. So, like, I was picking up, like, prospectuses for, like, South Bank, like, whatever. I was just like, don't lie to yourself that you're guaranteed to do well. Like, have a really, really diversified set of universities that you apply to. And a funny thing, actually, so one of the moments that really was inspiring, but also kind of one of the first times where one of the few times I've regretted the choices that I've made, are when at the end of my first year where you get straight A's, and if you do really, really well. So I mean, like, I'm not trying to gas. I'm not a braggadocious person. People know that about me. But
Braggadocious.
I don't even know if that's the word. But yeah, I don't brag. I don't brag. I don't. You know what I mean? I think I'm a humble. You know. No. Like when I'm talking about getting A's in these subjects, you know what I mean? I'm talking about like out of the 300 and whatever marks you get, you're only hitting like 319, 318.
Yeah.
We're talking about like, because you could resit back then. So if I didn't do well, if I got an A, I wasn't happy with it. I'd resit the exam to try and get 100% in it. So like, we're talking about somebody who across the entirety of the 3 S's I was doing, I probably dropped. I probably got about 97, 96%. So they're really like, wow, this guy's going to be a story for this college. Great, like we need to see him. So the headmaster calls me into the office and we're sitting down with him, and he's saying to me, you've done really, really well, you've done exceptional. And it's funny because the few friends I'd made who were doing really well all said the same thing. He's come out, he's all told all of us that apply to Imperial, Oxford, Cambridge, like you can do it, like whatever. Sit down with him and he's like, yes, I'm not going to tell you what I told the other students. Like, don't waste one of your options. You know what I mean? It's a completely different kind of conversation. And it wasn't said to me as explicitly as that, and it wasn't said in a malicious way whatsoever. And I thank the decision. I thank the direction I was kind of taking.
All right, here we go.
But yeah.
Hold on. Hello, caller.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes.
Yeah, it's Boss Lady.
Hello, boss lady. Good evening.
How are you?
Well, good, thank you. How are you? Did you get home safe?
Yes, I'm listening to you. And I want to ask the gentleman what happened that it made him turn around to get the A's, like something happened on the way or whatever. So if he can explain what happened that made him to turn around to
Okay.
this. Yeah,
Okay.
all right.
Yeah, it was.
I'm listening.
It was very
I want-
much. Yeah, it was very much
Okay,
my
thank
mum.
you.
Oh no, yeah, it's very much my mum. Very much just that fire. I mentioned it a few times earlier. It's that fire that lights underneath you, where you become determined to achieve something. And something else. It's a very, very random one, which I always say is like studying economics during a financial crisis is great because basically. And it's something else I don't touch upon. I talk about no role models. I actually think, and I'll get back to answering the question, but alongside no role models, you don't realise the upside of opportunity. Like I didn't realise, like context-wise, my girlfriend, when I was in my first year of college, I went to her parents' house, and they asked me what I wanted to do when I was older. And this is me on the straight and narrow, really trying to be like I'm trying to achieve. And the literal best job I could think of was, I want to be a supermarket manager. That was what I thought was like the top end of attainment.
As I peer over
you can't do any better than that. And there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever, but genuinely that was like for me, like if you can do that, raw. And then you start watching the news during a financial crisis and people are talking to you about bankers' bonuses. We're talking about 15, 16, 17, 20 million pounds. And I'm going, why am I not over there? So I think it was a combination of those conversations with my mum, being an economics student, realizing that like in the world there's a lot of things that happen, having my horizons broadened out, that had a massive impact for me. And I think that it's a downside factor, but a lot of us don't get when we're growing up, which is you watch it on TV, you'll be watching like I don't know, you'll be on YouTube and there'll be some Ellen show or something on, and you get like a little kid on there and like, oh, what do you want to be when you grow up? When I'm older, I want to be a lawyer like my daddy, or when I'm older, I want to be a lawyer like my uncle or my cousin or my whatever, if you know what I mean. Or I want to be something. You have like a understanding of the different things and the fulfilling ways in which you can live your lives. I know people who have family members who are like top surgeons, people who have family members who are barristers, or parents who are barristers, parents who are or grandparents or family members who are philosophers and do all kinds of interesting things. So from a young age, you're like, I can really make something of myself. And for me, it was that realization that I could do something really, really drove me. So to summarize my answer, my mum, I think having that really strong role model in my life, so that economics teacher, he just made a phenomenal difference to my life in a way in which I'll never be able to explain. And then just that having my eyes open to the opportunity available in the world. And I kind of never thought I was going to be a guy making a 20 mil bonus. That didn't cross my mind once, but I was like, well, I guess there's something better than working in the Morrisons and trying to run it, but I can do. So yeah.
Okay. Well, great. Thank you. Boss Lady, I hope that answered your question. And are we going back to, what I was asking about your mum?
Yeah.
Yeah. So carry on.
So my mum was just very happy, very supportive, helped me minimize helped minimize how I would feel if I didn't achieve the things I would do. And then, when I came back home with my A-level results, so right at the end of it, like that feeling, there's very few feelings which will match like that feeling I have when I open that paper and look down and you just see 4A sat there and you're like,
Wow.
mad, like actually like how has this happened? I'm actually going to the uni that I want to go to, like I've made it, like I don't know how I've done this. I'm going back home, my mum is like, wow. My sister is thinking, really? Let's just double check the paper to make sure, you know what I mean?
Is it correct?
Is it correct? Is he the right guy? And I think that again was a turning point. So I think for my family, that was the moment of like, we've been taking you seriously for the past few years, but yeah, now we're really going to take you seriously, and we really believe. But like, yeah, you set yourself a direction in life, and you set yourself the stuff you want to do.
Wow,
and then yeah, it was on to uni from there.
So if you don't mind, what uni did you end up getting?
I went to Loughborough.
Okay, yeah.
Great uni.
Great,
Walk on water.
The what?
You walk on water.
You walk on.
You walk on water. Trust me.
All right, Jesus.
Easy,
All right. So, what created Chance for you?
What created Chance?
Yeah, as in, like, was it the role model? I think actually you've answered it. Role model.
Yeah.
The Doubters, the support network. Okay,
yeah,
great.
Yeah.
So now you're at uni.
Yeah.
You got these great results. You're at uni. Was there any pressure for you to like even do like get? I don't know. What were you gonna get? What was gonna happen at uni?
I just had to do well, man. I look back at it, and it's like I think it wasn't the best thing for like my overall health, like both physical and mental. The amount of pressure I put on myself to like do well, but that's not the reason we're talking about. We're having this conversation now, I should say. But I think it was a lot of pressure to do well, but that was the driving force. I think pressure is a really good driving force, and yeah. And that was another learning curve for me, because for the first time, like, you're around people who were like significantly different to you. So I'd still never had access, albeit at this point I've like reframed the way that I see the world. I have not had access to some of the people I was around, and I'm not saying that as a positive or negative thing. It's just like you really get exposed to some different characters. Like you start meeting privately schooled people who some of them really burn. Like some of them really burn, because at this point, like. My mind is open. I've become obsessed with really succeeding. So I can hear that obscure thing I don't understand in the economics lecture, and it's now like an intellectual challenge. If it's going to take me 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 days, whatever, I'm staying in that library until I understand this. Like when you have a reading list, I actually read it. I was that you. I was like, I'm not messing around. Like and I also wanted to kind of round my story. Because I thought about employability at the end of uni, and like at this point, I'm like, wow, grad schemes need you. They always say you have to have this in your whatever, you have to have this in your whatever, all the way back to GCSE. I was like, what is a really compelling story I can tell? Like my life has been my life. There's nothing I can change about it, and I want to own it, and I love the life that I've lived. What's really compelling is to go like, yeah, I didn't focus, I made all these mistakes. I told myself one day I was going to work really hard, and look at like the way the rocket took off and kept on going, rather than look at the way the rocket took off and then you found out it was a plane instead. So. That was a kind of really strong driving force for me, just to make sure that I could round that story off, get a really good set of A-levels, get a really good degree, and then go and work somewhere where I could, actually add some kind of value, but I suppose more at that moment in time, just make some money. I really wanted to make some money. I wanted to transcend that environment. I did not want to be poor. Like, you growing up poor, people say money doesn't make you happy, and I wholeheartedly believe that.
Is there like...
Well,
mostly I think some people, it depends on how the person you are and how you handle it. But I could handle money. So if you want to pass some over here, that's fine.
Yeah,
so okay, so that's all the academic bits. But did you have fun at uni?
I had fun.
Did you do enjoyment?
I had enjoyment. I had a good time, man. I think I had a good time. My first year, I really I don't know. I got on the coaches to go to the uni raves. I turned up all over the place. I made way too much I made too much noise at the ACS. I was about in Loughborough. Like, I was definitely about in Loughborough.
Yeah.
I still speak to a lot of the people I went to uni with. I showed face a hell of a lot. I had a good time.
You were a bit of a DJ.
I had my radio show, Loughborough Campus Radio. I had my radio show Wednesday nights, 9 to 11, playing, used to come through to the Students' Union. That was good, man. Yeah, that was good. I had a lot of fun.
What kind of DJ were you? Were you the DJ that would then just start talking enough over the music? or did you let the music play?
I had ad libs. I don't know. I don't know if people can tell who are watching. I can obviously talk for England, so I would be every few seconds saying something. And I used to love Bashment at that point. So you know what Bashment changed? What Bashment tapes are like? Fire!
Yeah.
Every time, and when the tune gets live, weed it back, start playing the tune, mixing the other version of the rhythm. I wasn't doing that, man. I didn't have the skills for that, but I was trying to replicate the amount of talking. Yeah, and then I play Bashment. I'd play a little bit of grime. This is before you could actually play grime, if you know what I mean. So now the grime was. This isn't the point of the conversation. Grime was something that we've listened to since we were 13, 14 years old, and the rest of the world has decided it's okay now, but it's fine. But yeah, even playing grime on there, playing I guess like a bit of like road rap. So like what eventually kind of manifested, or eventually became drill music. Played a bit of that, but mostly Bashment, a little bit of Afrobeats. I wasn't actually the biggest Afrobeat fan in uni. I'm not even gonna lie. Like,
are you?
I love me an Afrobeat.
Hey.
Mad, but I think it was towards the end of uni is when I started feeling them. I wasn't really the biggest Afrobeat fan. Is what it is. But yeah, I had a really, really good time, a really fulfilling 3 years, made a really, really good set of friends, a lot of them I still speak to now, who were doing a whole bunch of interesting stuff. But also feel like I had like my perspective on the world opened out more through that experience, and through meeting people who were fundamentally different to me, meeting people who were so privileged, but like they really didn't really have to do much, if you know what I mean. Like, I had people on my course who, I kid you not, for like their 21st birthday in our final year, were being bought Range Rover Evokes. Like, you're not living the same life as me, and I think that's the moment at which I realised actually like there is a really, really broad spectrum of how people can live their lives, and I'd rather be on this really, really nice end than be on that other end, because some of us, like our parents, are worried about paying bills as we're growing up while working incredibly hard, and other people it's like you're complaining about your father not buying you the colour of Range Rover you wanted for your 21st birthday. Genuine story, like it's and I think to me it was just like really eye-opening, and that demonstrated to me like when you go out into this world, go and get your bag.
Okay.
Go and get your bag.
So the money, obviously Mum had a percentage of that money like banked down for her. You were thinking, I'm going to make millions.
I didn't know about millions. I didn't think millions at all, if you know what I mean. Like, if I did think millions, life has definitely humbled me if I was thinking that at any point. But I think it was always like, what can I do? How can I give back to my family? And how can I make sure that for my children, I started thinking about it a lot more as I get older. But for my children, how do I ensure that they grow up in a circumstance where they are comfortable? To be fair, I was always comfortable. We were always secure. My mum always put us first, so that's not something which I'm trying to kind of misconvey. What I'm trying to do is a circumstance where you have such a solid foundation for your children, and finances are so unimportant that you can start maximizing upsides rather than minimizing downsides. So start thinking about like that instrument you really like playing. Like let's actually go and buy you one. Let's find a tutor who can help you and who can school you down that path. That sport you like playing. Even if it's not about finances in this instance. I have the time now to be able to drive you to that place on a Saturday morning, on a Sunday afternoon. It's really, really simple things which kind of open up opportunities, and I think for me that's one of the driving forces. So being able to kind of look after myself primarily, I definitely thought about that. I'm not going to pretend to be like a more noble individual than I am, but also look after my family and do the right thing by them. And I think future generations of my family, like being able to look after my kids in the right kind of way. So we wanted to make some paper.
Awesome. Yeah. So Nay's like gone slightly ahead of everybody, and so I was going to ask you, post uni, like what's going on? And Nay's asked on Facebook, so are you still in uni? Are you working? What's next on this journey? Of yours, young man.
So finished uni. Got the first class that I wanted. I actually, it's funny. Towards the end of uni, I set myself an objective, which I didn't achieve the objective. I'll say that up front. I was like, I don't actually want to get a first class. I want to come top of my year. That was my objective. Became top 3 selected, but didn't come top of the year. And that was fine. I was like, cool. It's fine. I've left this board and it's good. Before I finished uni, I had a couple of internships doing some interesting stuff. Some short, some a bit longer. Finished uni, and I had a grad scheme lined up for a professional services firm, so one of the big 4 accountancy firms, which I ended up going to work at. But in between that, I worked at a commodity firm for a while, so an organisation within research into commodities, particularly metals, so mined metals, for purposes of giving advice to either the miners themselves or, in certain instances, to financial services organisations, but are trying to forecast effectively, trying to work out demand so they could make some kind of essentially buy either an option or a future in that particular commodity and make some money. But sorry. But in between that, went travelling for a while. I went to South America. I spent a few months in like Paraguay, Argentina, just bouncing around, doing some interesting stuff.
Doing enjoyment.
Yeah, doing enjoyment. Worked on a farm for a month in Paraguay, which was kind of enjoyable until it wasn't. Left there and just got on a bus one day in Paraguay. And because Paraguay, Argentina, Bolivia, all these countries have borders with each other, like land borders, just got on a bus like that. Spoke terrible Spanish. Managed to find myself in one area called like Calcope. So I lived in an area called Eusebio Ayala in Paraguay. If anyone Paraguay is tuning in, I love Paraguay. It was one of the best places I've been to in my life. But yeah, one area called Eusebio Ayala was there to begin with. Realised I didn't want to be on this farm anymore after about a month. Wanted to go and explore, and I kind of had my cultural experience and learned my little bit of Spanish, which was enough to get me by. So got on a bus to an area called Calcope, which is at the other side of Paraguay. Had like a proper shower for the first time in a month. Like when I we were the river
you were
was
stinking. That's what you were doing.
The river was really the source of a lot of our sustenance. It was not great, and well, sustenance, sanitation, everything. But left there. Went to Buenos Aires for 2 months. Had a really good time there. Met a really good set of people. Don't talk to as much of them as I should do, but I guess that's kind of life, right? It's part of the experience, part of the journey. And then came back and started working at the professional services firm. Was there for 2 years, 2 really good and enjoyable years. Feel like I learned a lot and really developed myself professionally. So I think it was the refinement required. It was kind of like you've taken this individual who has grown up in this environment. He has kind of had his early teen years just like doing nonsense, and then gone to college, started to kind of attune his educational skill and attained a lot more than he believed he could do. Gone to university, done really well, but actually now has been placed into this environment where the majority of individuals that he works with are very different to him, and I guess facing into the reality of having to change who you maybe change who you are. That's the wrong thing, because I never want to change who I am, but having to really refine yourself and being caught with that slight complex, which is if I am 100% kind of the straight about the individual I am, even my upbringing and the life that I've lived so far, I'll probably be judged. So having to like chip a few elements of yourself away while I'm there, but that's another point. That's not really related. And then moving forward from there, left the professional services firm. People always say this is random. Ended up working for one of the big retailers in the UK, a retailer which many of you will go into every single week. Many of you will go in there every single week. They have about I think 1/2 of the UK population, or 1/3 of the UK adult population shops in there on a weekly basis, so you know them. And I went there and I became a French and fine wine buyer. So I was buying French and fine wine for about a year. Which was
buying and drinking, Abby.
Buying, and we were drinking a little bit of it, but yeah, that was a really interesting experience. I think really good commercially. It really grew me up. It made me understand the complexities of running even a small team within an organisation, how to effectively manage a P&L, so profit and loss account, and I guess really heighten my decision making ability, because you want to buy some wine at a particular price. Are you actually buying it at the right price? When it goes into the store, have you listed it at the right price? The customer's going to buy it in the quantities in which you expect. All of that ends up hitting the bottom line. You're responsible for that bottom line. So if you make a bad choice, unlike some other environments where everything is excusable, I can think of an excuse for it all. Actually, if your sales are down 15% and you've lost us money, we kind of don't care about the food you want to put around it. So really interesting and good experience there. And then one of the colleagues from the professional services firm that I worked at had an idea for a startup. That startup was a innovation startup which would basically change the way in which individuals and corporates went about developing their ideas to create kind of new either incremental growth or disruptive growth ventures which could create future revenue streams for the organization. So went there and became part of like the initial team of the startup there. So that was about 2 years ago, 2 and a bit years ago, but I've been there ever since.
So is that what you're still doing now?
That's what I'm still doing now, yeah.
Oh, okay. Might have to contact you.
Come on, I see you're down the corridor.
I'm down the corridor, so
Yeah.
Stephen and I actually work in the same building, but we don't work for the same company. We actually got talking. That place, like I love the building and everything, but people aren't that overly friendly. What do you think? Yeah.
People don't talk too much.
Yeah.
Don't talk too much.
But you do.
That's why I talk far too much.
I'm joking. No, it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Give it the whole life story.
It's good. Like
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed this topic, and I've really enjoyed having you in here,
Yeah.
guys. If you want to call up, and if you've got any more questions for Mr. Man here, the telephone number is 0203 002 8482. If you're calling from overseas, is 0044 203 002 8482. Okay. So, is there anything else that you'd like to talk about? Is there anything else that you'd like to say, ask me, or something that I've missed off?
I guess it's like the next piece is just what I think I've like. I guess everything I've kind of scattered around. So I'll speak about something and shoot that direction. I'll speak about something and shoot that direction. What I think is, I guess, like the lesson I've got from all of this, and the thing that I want people to take away, and kind of the entire reason I'm here. One of the things I care about more than anything is seeing like young black people
My
do
friend,
well.
hold on.
Someone calling.
Yes. Hello, good evening.
Hello, I'm here today.
Maybe I'll show you on way.
Tata now.
Hello?
Yeah, Lord,
Oh, now it's Tiana.
me remain.
Okay. So, sorry, my guest doesn't speak Chi.
Oh, okay.
Come on,
So if we can
What's
speak
the
English.
topic? What's the
So,
topic?
so I've got Stephen in the studio with me today, and he's just been telling us about how he basically turned his life around from a little tearaway as a teenager, and basically not doing very well academically, to actually coming home one day with really bad results. His mum was crying, he got beats as well, and from that day he just literally decided that he was going to put 110 effort in and, you know, just do better with his life. So he's really given us the story of just from, you know, 13 to now, and how well he's done. He's turned around and he's gone.
He's gone. He didn't
Yeah, that was long. It was boring.
They don't want you to win.
I think he's just cut off.
No.
He'll go back.
But no. Anyway, I want to get back to the point I was on, because I feel like it's the crux of why I'm here. I think it's the thing that I genuinely care about more than most other things is seeing young black males and females, but I think in my case particularly males do well. And so many of us get written off at young ages. If someone had written me off, if I didn't have that opportunity, I'd just probably be on ends doing some nonsense. I've been empowered by people giving me a chance at a young age, at the age of 16. When you hear about a lot of the things happening in the world, when you hear about these things happening in South London in particular, these kids are 15, 16, 17 years old. They're given no opportunity. No one cares about them. The few opportunities for social mobility which were in your area, so your not even social mobility, the few productive things available in your area, so that youth club, that Sure Start Centre for your child to go to, whatever it was, they've been eliminated due to government cuts. And I think it's all of us in our individual lives thinking about the things we can do to empower that young youth. What can you do? Can you let somebody come into your office and sit down for a few days just to learn and to open up their eyes and inspire them? I've gone to offices now and I see opportunities, but I didn't get when I was young, and I can see how I can see the kids' eyes light up when I walk around that professional services firm I used to work in, and you see that group of young ethnic minority kids walk through, but looking around like, wow, those are the buildings, but you walk past. Unfortunately, in our demographic, those are the buildings, but our parents have to clean. They're not buildings, but we go and work in. And I think it's changing those perspectives, letting people know they can do well, giving them that opportunity if they're not doing well to actually focus on something, and to find that passion that sits within them, because that's I guess something that I missed out earlier. It's that passion. It was that economics. It was that passion, that thing that I could finally throw my all into, but I thought I could do well at. So it's a general point. Yeah, think about what it is you can do, even if it's just for the lives of one young person around you. What is it you can do? You never know how inspiring and how inspirational you're going to be. Think about the things you can put in place in your local area, in your local community. For me, it's simple things. I'll sit down with someone once in a while and be like, this is how you storyboard a presentation. This is what we do in consulting. Go to a university, speak to some people. Go to a school, speak to some people. You don't realise the impact that these small things have on the lives of individuals. And I guess more broadly, don't believe at any point, and I guess this is more for young people, so I doubt very many of them will be tuned in. And I feel like as you get older, we kind of all realise it, whether or not we do something about it. Don't believe that the past choices you've made, particularly when you're under the age of 18, are any kind of indicative or any kind of indicator of the future and the trajectory you're going to go on. There is opportunity for you to do well. You can do better. Just focus really, really heavily. And there's a whole bunch of people around me who have been on similar journeys. I've got friends who have attained even worse than me. So who have had to go to college, have had to do foundation years there, and they've ended up going to Oxford to go and do kind of masters there. You know what I mean? They're now in other countries leading organisations out there. So I think it's, when you give people that opportunity, especially people from deprived backgrounds, you have a bit of a chip on their shoulder, they will usually seize them and they will usually work really, really hard. And don't excuse yourself. Don't excuse the individual that you are. Don't excuse the background that you come from. Be honest about it. Be proud about it, because it's actually a massive piece of upside which you can leverage. A story like this, I used to shy away from this story so much. And I kind of today, even earlier on, I could tell I was a little bit awkward. I don't really know. I used to shy away from talking about stuff like this so much because I thought, actually, well, this isn't how successful people don't do something like this. I'll never be successful if I'm honest and tell this kind of story, because people who do well in life don't come from environments like me. Actually, that environment has instilled a really, really good set of principles in me, has taught me how to work hard, has taught me to respect other individuals and to see beyond some status or some title that they have, and has taught me empathy, and that people really do go through things in life, but some people are really the outcome of their circumstance rather than the outcome of a set of practical choices that they've made, and that you should try to see the good in everybody, because you never know who they are and you never know what they're going to show you one day. And that's it, that's it. If you spoke to any one of my school teachers, and I went back there, my little sister actually in Basingstoke went to the school that I went to, and when I turned up to the school to pick her up one day, and I told the head of maths there, he did not like me when I was in school. We did not get along. He believed in me to some degree, I think. He saw something within me, but he didn't like me at all. When I told him what he was doing, what I was doing in my life, he kind of looked at me like, how? I don't know if I believe you, or you can see it written all over, a whole you, really. And I think that's it. I think people at particular moments in your life aren't going to see what you see within yourself, and your job at that particular moment in time isn't for people to see that. It's for you to believe it and for you to kind of light that passion within yourself and really, really drive yourself forward. I'm not trying to be an inspirational person or anything. I don't think that I am. I think I've just worked hard over the past few years to straighten out a set of circumstances which to an extent I find myself in, but all of us can do this. All of us can do this, and I think for the young people, I don't know if there's young people listening, but just feel free to holler me, feel free to reach out to me. If you're 16 years old, you don't know what to do with your life or whatever it is, I'm not a savior, I haven't got all of the answers whatsoever, but we can have a conversation, we can have a coffee in Costa and Camberwell or something.
I'm glad that you said that, because I've got something that I would like you to do for me, but I'll talk to you about that in a bit, but I've got a couple of assignments for you now that you've offered your services. Well, not right now, not today.
Go and bring the
but you'll get it. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Well done. Like, that's really, your story is really inspirational, and just all the passion and the drive that you seem to have as you speak about this. And I think it is really important that society and, you know, those who have made it, so to speak, those who have been through it already, actually do turn back and do offer these kind of mentoring services to a point to young people, because you know there's a lot going out in the streets, and you do need that person to say, actually, I believe in you, believe in yourself, and you can do it. And you know it's going to be okay, and even if you can't do it, it's all right because you're trying.
And that's it.
You know, that's important.
So important. So important.
Right.
Be more role models.
That's right. I'm going to listen to some music. One I haven't played for a while is Hello by Chemistry. Actually, tell me what you think about this song.
Hello, nice to meet you. Ooh. What a lovely day. What's your name? Some of my closest friends call me the new. You should do the same. I noticed your smile from across the way. I'm digging your style, I must say. Would you mind if I share this table with you? Put my bag down, have a seat and stay a while. I'd love to talk politics and limericks, poetry, philosophy, you see. Talk religion, ideology, spirituality, and maybe even...
Roan is called Hello by The Chemistry. It's a group out in New Jersey. Realize and the New. It's called Hello by The Chemistry. You can get it on SoundCloud and on YouTube.
I'll do the same for you. It's been so lovely conversing. Can we make an exchange? Don't hesitate to call me anytime. You already know I'll do the same. Get me.
Hello, so very nice to meet you. I noticed you walking, so I had to greet you. And here I am, see-through, so transparent, it's apparent. I make this here effort valiant on principle, your royalty. So just like a prince would do, disarm you while I charm you. I'm so into you, and sister with a voice like that, you're the one. There is none, nothing hotter, not even the sun. That was a pun on the sky. Don't mind me, I'm shy. What if everything we wanted came from just you and I? See why? I never call you my bitch or my boo. I only call you by your name. I think you'd like that too. But back to your smile. Goddess is wild. I ain't seen one bright as yours in a very long while. It might seem like this is a dream, right? But my day's been dark. You're my ultra beam light. Take a chance on this rapper, actually MC. There's a lot you could be doing, nothing good as me. And we could be everything that we could be. No need to dwell on that now, because soon you'll see. And look at me, getting ahead of myself. You don't even know my name, and I'm ready to tell all about how I see us in the future. So dope, so fresh, so fly, so lit. I hope you can see the picture I'm painting, but what am I saying? I still haven't said my name, and you still patiently waiting, and that ain't right. So obviously it's wrong. I'm just speaking what I feel, but it flows like a song. I can never turn you off, so you know that it's on. Only thing better than me on stage is when I perform. Speaking of which, did I tell you my name? The people call me dope, but you can call me one and the same. Realize the man, the myth, the legend, whoever you were with is who you'll be forgetting. And the standards we are setting are so damn high, I need telescope to see us. We are so damn fly. Yeah.
That was Hello by The Chemistry. Did you like it?
Good tune, man.
I love that song actually. Yeah.
It's low key, very, very low key.
Yeah, my nephew just texted me. He's going to bed. Good night, Kofi. He's gone off to boarding school last week.
Hey.
I really miss him. I miss him. It's like just before he went, he grew up overnight, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
He turned into this like really almost like an adult. Like he's tall. He's about my height.
You said
and getting taller than me. I told you,
you.
didn't I?
Yeah.
But he was just like everything. His whole demeanor was of this young man. So, oh yeah, I don't know if you're listening to me, but good night, my love.
Good night.
Good night. Good night. Good night. So, Mr. Stephen. Mr. Stephen. So, when was the last time you went to Nigeria?
I don't even know that.
Oh.
It's been a while.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Decade thereabouts.
Oh, God. I was going to ask you, like, the different variations that your name's called out.
Oh, no,
there's Stephen, Steven, Steve.
Steven.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Okay. They call me by my Nigerian name in Nigeria, but I'm not going to give that one away.
Oh, go on.
Start giving away full profiles and everything.
Go on. Let's just, okay.
Ife Olua.
Pardon? Ife Olua.
Yeah, we go Ife Olua.
So I'm going to call you Ife.
That's what happened. You know what happened in
Ife
school?
Olua.
That happened in school, yeah. I actually went to that I think about primary school. Primary school was a bit different because I had a headmaster. He was like headmistress, sorry. Who was my mum came in, and as a child I hated it, but looking back, I proper like appreciate how empowering she was trying to be.
Yeah.
It just didn't work with the other kids who were going Ife. But she was like, we should call our kids by their African names. Yeah. So she was like, you shouldn't be calling him Stephen. Yeah. Like he should be called in school with Phil and let him grow. And I guess it was like, I don't know what the rationale was. I can't remember. I was probably about flipping 7, 8 years old. But I think her rationale was like letting you grow up with pride in your African heritage. Yeah. Yes. Which, if you don't remember, I don't know how many of you do, but like if you grew up in London and you grew up African in London and you're in your late 20s right now, it was not cool to be African when we were at school.
It was not, was it?
Not cool to be African.
Everybody was Jamaican.
Yeah, everyone was Caribbean.
Forget Caribbean, it was Jamaican. Yeah. Like, no one was Trini or Bayesian. Everybody was just straight up Jamaican with the accent and everything. Yeah. Oh, the last man standing. I feel like we should have like a ragga tune.
Yeah, you should throw a ragga tune on.
Which one though?
Oh, you put them
I like the old school 90s.
No,
I like some Beanie.
Throw a bashment tune on. I'm gonna go easy.
Which one?
And play on put on Dancehall Vibes Cartel, the actual dancehall tune called Dancehall.
Oh my God. I don't know about this guy, you know. Okay.
No, you love vibes. You love vibes.
Let me see.
Or put on Vibes Cartel Lodi. You can never go wrong with Lodi.
Vibes Cartel is with K, isn't it?
Yeah.
Spells it with K. Let's see if it's not banned.
It won't be banned.
Padding. Oh, it's all like mixtapes.
Oh, it's a shame.
It's a damn shame.
It's a shame.
It's a big shame.
You don't want it.
See, I told you, man. Oh, wait. What was the other song?
Yeah.
What was the other one?
Bam?
Bam.
No, it was Lodi. It was Vibes Cartel Lodi. Loodi.
Loobi.
Di.
Hey. Loodi.
These are old tunes, but they're bangers. They're bangers.
Okay. I've probably heard it, but not like I never know the names. Okay, with Shanice. That one.
That one.
All right, let's hear it. That'd be good.
Female listeners will like this one as
So
well.
you need
Agencia.
Is there enough swearing in it? Oh my God, this is the raw version.
Me feel the eyes, believe the eye, me love the lights, me do it despite.
You're just a true 66 like Lodi. That is what you're doing with your body.
Okay.
I don't know. I'll be gonna be cutting this.
Am I about to cut it?
That is what you're doing with your body. And when you're wine, pretty girl, it grove me. Girl, I wanna take you to a movie.
Yeah, I've got some aunties listening as well, you know.
I do the verb with the noun, with the subject. Anything you want me happy, get you can't object. You fall in love faster than object. My pussy tight.
We are going to cut it there.
Yeah, go on.
as the word was said, it was released. So,
Wow.
young man, this is what you're listening to, eh?
I'm
I'm going to call your mother.
Hey, boy.
I will tell your mother. She'll come back with the wooden spoon. I swear down, yeah.
Okay.
African parents use that spoon more for the other thing than actually cooking with.
Probably, yeah.
I swear. Or they had two. I know my mum had two or three. Mum, if you're listening, you know you had two. And you know what you used to do with the other one. But it's okay. I forgive you. I love you. It's okay. If you hadn't done it, I'll be a wild child. So it's okay. But mummy,
Keeps you on the
really,
straight and narrow.
honestly. Oh, somebody said, Anita, in the comments earlier on said, oh, what did she say? She said, see, well done, Stephen. You see, a good beating was needed.
You know, that might have been it, because you know someone asked earlier what was it, and I went, oh yeah, it was the combination of like my mum, the combination of like having a mentor, whatever. Maybe I just caught that one, and that one was enough just to straighten me out.
And that was it. You just needed one. Just that one. And Nay wants to know what your star sign is.
Star sign?
Yeah. I don't know.
Oh wow.
She's
I'm
Aquarian.
Am I giving away too much information about myself?
No, because you're not telling us your birthday, are you? The date, your date of birth.
Nigerians are crafty still. No, I'm joking.
You're scared of your people. Don't worry. It's mainly Ghanaians that listen.
Oh, okay. Oh, we can give everything away. It's cool. No, I'm an Aries.
Oh, yeah. I don't really know. Like, you can tell some people like your star sign and then know straight away what month that falls into.
Yeah, no.
That feels like a summer.
April, yeah.
As April.
April, baby. Yeah.
Oh,
April,
okay. Okay. Anything else? Anything? Are you at work tomorrow, by the way?
I'm at work tomorrow. I might.
Yeah, out and about.
I'll be at work, but I won't be in the office. But I will be on Friday.
I'm off.
Yeah.
I'm not working on Friday.
I should ask you some questions, but I'm not going to.
You can do.
I haven't formed them enough.
Why are you trying to give me like difficult questions?
What do you mean? I don't know. I should have written some earlier.
It's okay. Like, what are you trying to ask me, man?
What's the driving force behind doing a radio show?
Right. So last year, I wanted to do a lot of things.
Put yourself on the camera as well right now.
I just want to leave it on you. Put you on this. I need a flashlight. Let's put it on your head. Oh, you're gonna use your phone?
I'll use my phone to put a flashlight on you in a second.
It's a lie. All right. So, it was really. Oh my God! Stop it. This guy's actually got. And you're trying to put the flashlight on this spot. I've got this. You're not nice. It's okay. It's okay. I appreciate. Okay. So last year I wanted to do a lot of things that was out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
And I have this thing about my voice that I can't listen back to my voice. I can a bit now, it's fine. But before, like, if I heard my voice recorded, I'd literally run, cringe, and just, go off.
Yeah.
So last year I said I want to do things at my comfort zone. And a friend contacted me and said, oh, you might be good on a radio.
Yeah.
So why don't you come and speak to the manager and whatever? And I was like, so I put it off. That was all like May. And I just kept putting it off.
Yeah,
and eventually, and I was actually in America at the time. I was there for 3 months. So when I came back in August, I was like, I don't know. Eventually came down, I think in October, had a conversation with my lovely boss. He's really, really lovely. I thought, actually, I could try. Like, it would be putting myself out, and that's why I want to do this year, so it was fine. And then I chickened out again, so I didn't actually start till December. And the first day, I had a friend of mine, the PM, the song that I played first, him, and I was shaking. I was here. You could hear the shake in my voice. I don't think I'm shaking anymore, but yeah, it was really nerve-wracking. But I put myself out there. And also, actually, my niece and my nephews said to me that they wanted to go on a radio. And so I had asked a friend if they could come on his show.
Ask the
And he
friend.
said, oh, he's not sure. Pardon?
No, I said ask a friend. Yeah,
Yeah, ask a friend. And he said, oh, he's not sure or whatnot. So when this came about, and I thought, yeah, right, if not for anything, they can come on. And they actually did come on a few weeks ago, and they had a really good time. And they're coming back
Okay.
to do some next thing. I don't
Nice,
know.
very,
But they're
very
coming to do it again, but they threatened to come back. Especially my niece, it was so weird. She was, I thought she was just going to like sit back and be really quiet.
Yeah.
Because she can be very shyos.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
But
But yeah,
instead
she
she
was
was
a
leaning
mouthy
forwards.
little one. Where she was, I was like, what? Whose child is this? Must be mine. But yeah, no, it was good. It was good. So we had that was my driving force for doing this.
Good.
Yours. That's it. I feel like we need more music.
I feel like
We're
we
going to
need
have
more
some
music,
Afro beats though. Yeah?
Yeah, we can go after a beat.
What? I'm feeling like some... So, a friend of mine's going to a baby dedication
Yeah.
on Sunday in London.
Yeah.
And apparently, guess who's going to turn up? Who's going to be there?
This kid.
Yeah.
Hey, star boy.
Yeah, can you imagine?
You know,
I was
said,
like, what
we
kind
someone
of-
says
is
guess.
this a
You're not
wedding?
meant to actually guess right, innit? I kind
You
of ruined it
did.
there. Yeah, but it's Wiz Kid.
Yeah,
hey.
you spoiled it, man.
Hey,
But yeah, I mean,
star
come on,
boy.
it's not a wedding. Anyway, WizKid, if you're like when you turn up on Sunday, Wednesday we're here 8 to 10.
Hey, listen.
You are welcome.
After you see him doing up bits of Naomi Campbell last week, now he wants to be coming to. Hey, if he comes, listen.
He's brought out a new range of like that's range with Nike.
Nike, yeah.
And it sold out in
a few
10 minutes.
yesterday. Yeah.
Is this how this guy's moving? Good for him.
It's funny because I saw a friend of a friend. Friend of a friend is A&R, a music place. I'm not gonna name the label. I'm not gonna bait them up, but I saw him the other day wearing a Starboy T-shirt, like the Nike one.
Yeah.
I just saw it. I
Oh,
didn't
how
think
did he
anything of
get
it.
that?
I thought it was Nike. Oh, because they I think
Oh,
Wiz
they
Kid
get
is
it.
signed to the label,
Yeah,
whatever it is.
yeah.
And it happened to cascade down to them, and I saw the T-shirt and I thought, oh, that's live. Didn't think anything of it. Didn't ask about it. I thought, oh, maybe I didn't even know. I didn't think anything of it. And I see they dropped yesterday, and I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
man.
Well, I minded one of them. Look nice. Very, very nice.
10 minutes though. Good for you. Good for you, Wizzy. I'm gonna play the video though first.
What song you playing?
Guess.
If.
Yay! Why are you like this? Can't you just get things wrong?
I can't do this.
Hey. You can do a dance because the camera's on you, you know. Do the Niger dance. Can you do the shaku? No, you can't. Look at your face. Hey. You can't do it. You're letting down the Niger land.
Yeah, you do me
No,
juju.
you cannot.
Cause I'm feeling the juju.
DJ.
I wanna dash it to you. Take it. You can have it to you. Take
Oh.
it. You know I got this to you.
Somebody just sent me a question
I love
for
you, I
you.
love you, I love you.
It's quite a personal
There's
question.
nothing
Someone
above you.
asked me offline.
There's nothing above you, above you, above you. Reject you.
Somebody
Show
wants.
it to me.
Somebody wants to know if you are single
You're asking
for
about-
her sister.
Who's the sister?
I'm not. Her sister's gorgeous.
Who's the sister?
You don't. Obviously, you don't know her, but she's gorgeous. Young lady, in her 20s. What you think? What you think?
I'm not on the market right now.
Oh damn! Well, there you go, madam. You've heard from the horses or mouths.
I'm not on the market right now.
Is okay. Well, I was gonna say it's a shame, but it's not really. All right, never mind, darling. Next.
See the way she tries to like do me some a nice favour though. She's like, I'm gonna ask you.
I was
offline
going to
just
sell you small.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay. All right. So what have you? What are you doing this weekend?
Oh,
What's
me?
going on? You went carnival.
Oh,
You had a
Carnival,
mad
yeah.
weekend at carnival.
Carnival was good. Yeah, Sunday was a bit.
Yeah.
Monday was good though. I had a good Monday. I had a good time. I think, yeah, it's changing a bit. So like I think the way in which carnival runs is changing. A positive or negative thing. I'm not going to argue either. I'm not going to argue it's positive or negative. was going to argue, but it's changing. I think it's funny when you watch that Floetry video from back in the day, because she says, she talks about she's being a bit I know she's being sarcastic, but I think it's when Floetry was at 16, 17, whatever it was.
Yeah.
She's now a big woman. She's now like 30, 40 something.
Yeah.
She was saying, oh yeah, like I don't know why these lot don't integrate, man. We may as well just, you know what I mean, one day we're going to have a techno float and you can come over and you can have fun. And I'm going to say you lot, and that wasn't me saying you lot, I think that's paraphrasing from what she was saying.
Yeah.
She was talking about like non-Afro-Caribbean individuals coming to Carnival and not wanting to integrate or not getting involved or not coming to the Carnival.
Not no
because
more.
They didn't think it was for them. Whereas now, like, it's
more, yeah.
very, very, I'd say, but
diverse.
Yes, incredibly diverse. And the sounds themselves have changed. So there's obviously a lot more non-kind of Caribbean music there. So before you go Carnival, you'd find it really hard. Like you'd hear like it's all island music. So you hear like soca, you hear festival music, you hear ragga over here, bashment over here. Then you ended up getting a sprinkling of UK music in there, which was absolutely
which is
great,
good.
if you know what I mean. You had a lot of Afro swing turning up, you know, Afro beats again, and it would be sounds not dedicated to these types of music, but sounds which would play as part of their general like part of the day. So like you'd have like a Rampage, for example, but a spiral between different genres.
Always there, yeah.
Whereas now, like it's a lot of like on Sunday there was so much house everywhere, so much garage everywhere. And again, not a positive or negative thing, but I feel as if it was like a slightly different experience versus for Sunday, which was Sunday was good.
Sunday was good.
Yeah, the Sunday was good.
Mm.
Sorry, the Monday was good. Sorry, I should say the Monday was good. The Sunday was a bit shaky.
Yeah, I haven't been to Carnival for a long time.
When's the last time you went to Carnival?
I haven't been to Carnival since 7 years. It's been 7 years because 6 years because she was 1. Yeah, it's been 6 years. I remember because my cousins were here from Germany. Shout out to Jackie and Yvonne. This girl, she's always in high heels. I just had to put that out there. But yeah, I haven't been since. And even then, we were only there for like half an hour, and that was just me saying, all right, this is Carnival. Let's go. But I used to go a lot before.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm getting old. What do you think? I'm getting old.
I don't think you're getting old at all.
I need to put my battery riders back on and go.
Go put the battery riders on. Go out, go have fun, man.
Ain't nobody trying to see that.
Yeah, go have your time. Go have your time. Go have your fun.
I think it's just long. Even like these days, I think even going out.
Yeah.
And just the whole, I used to really relish the whole getting ready, putting my makeup on, doing my hair, heels and all of that. Now I'm just like, nah.
What about the spontaneous? I never go out. I never like have like a right. So I'm going out on like.
No, girls can't really do that. Like especially if it's if we're going clubbing or something, we want to get all dressed up in it. You guys can just go with your hat and you're good. We cannot.
Hey, listen.
We can't.
You have to get a whole
it's not possible.
You have to get a whole shaper.
Yeah. Oh well. I mean, come on.
You have to get a whole shaper. But no, I understand. Like super spontaneous is not necessarily the.
Some we can do it. But you choose your choice, innit? You choose your choice.
You've been going out.
Pardon?
You've been going out.
Do you know what? I just mostly just go out to like dinner and stuff. My cousin today, Davina, was saying that, oh, we haven't been out for ages, so let's go out next weekend. I was like, all right then. Yeah. Come next week. She's gonna say, oh, do you want to just come over and we can watch TV? We've turned into Granny's Day. It's okay. But yeah, I think we're probably gonna wrap it up. Young Steven. Thank you so much for coming into the studio today.
Yeah, it was enjoyable.
Did you enjoy yourself?
It was really, really enjoyable.
Oh, I'm so glad.
If you want to talk to me about anything but I spoke about today, then my Instagram is Stephen I Smith. So Stephen with a PH, I Smith, all in one chain. Add me on there, DM me, I'll respond.
All right now, and I've got projects for you.
Your projects for
2 little projects for you.
Oh, and if anyone else wants to throw any projects my kind of way, if you've got any little cousins or anything that you want me to speak to, or anything interesting,
I think that'd be really good.
Like I'm pretty willing to do that kind of stuff. And I know like a bunch of people who from uni and from elsewhere, even people I don't speak to, who are doing a really sort of interesting like tutoring things helping people get them to get from uni into graduate jobs, even friends who have just started like things which will teach not young people. I'm talking about the kind of people post graduation, so young adults 18 and above how to invest effectively. So reach out to me. I can I can try my best to facilitate some introductions to people and try and get you closer towards whatever it is you want to do.
Well done, young man.
It's all good. Thank you.
Thanks you. Thank you, everybody who tuned in, who commented. Thank you to Ross. Ross is in, he's all the way in Ghana, in Brong-Ahafo, listening. So, hey, thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Mama Nita, Nene, to Roan, to everybody who actually came on, Keith, Nordia, Tamara, Stephen, you kind of watched, didn't you? Danny, my sister was there, Silla, Andre, Kate, there's quite a lot of people actually. Hey. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate all of you. Look at all of that. Look at all of those names. Eh?
Yeah, there's plenty.
We were doing well. We are doing well. I think that's your people, right? Yeah.
I think so.
See, I know my people, and I know. Yeah. That's it. Thank you, everybody. Like that listened, that tuned in, that contributed, and I guess we'll see you next week. Enjoy your week. Have a blast. Be safe. Be good. What's this dude doing behind me?
Saying bye-bye.
You're saying goodbye. Okay, we have said goodbye. So now we're gonna end with what song? We need music.
The song.
This guy. Don't give me. Don't give me any you.
Put on Jumpy. Put on Ambush.
What?
Jumpy. It's type of Jumpy.
That's somebody's song, yeah?
Yeah.
Jumpy.
Jumpy.
Mate. What kind of music is that though?
It's UK music.
Alright.
It's good.
Let me do Jumpy. That's actually the name.
Yeah. The remix of it if you can do.
Alright. Let me just get in there. So YouTube, what are you doing to me? Oh man. People keep calling me YouTube DJ and this is true. Although I've moved on to SoundCloud. I'm still doing this. Now. Wait, okay, what is it? Jumpy. Jumpy by Ambush. So Jumpy remix. Ambush featuring Chip and Skepta. Alright, okay. Although okay, wait, let's go. Bye everybody.
We're introducing sounds to the world.
We're introducing sounds to the world. Hey, but the other song is still playing. Where's that coming from? We're having problems. We're having technical issues.
She's having technical issues.
Please don't.
We're not having anything.
Don't do that. You're just gonna like disown me like that.
There was a bus.
Is that what is?
Under it.
He just threw me under the bus.
Chicks in the back just waiting, tryna act like they don't want wait, huh? Slow down, baby girl, it's late. I can't drive in the States, and I don't wanna crash this rental. Cause the depot looking all crazy, and your girlfriend looking like cake, looking like creme brulee, and the next one looking like choc souffle.
Sweet one,
and we don't have 2 days. We were chilling on a beat 2 days.
Bare niggas want a verse from me. What's my name? CHIP. C's up like I'm from C-Town. Buzzwell, Ambush at MC. I went school in T, late nights with sneak the basin with green. Hoodie up, hat low on a W3. No beef, but affiliations get peak. Not standing with 30 G's. Cuban on me like 30 G's. Just me, tush money and tea. That's kush and money and tea. 3 lions, fuck 30 sheep. But I ain't with the violent raps. Niggas talk 4-4s, gas in the 4-door. Strip you with a violent chat. I ain't gotta buy no waps. My nigga said, Chippy, we got you. God said, sky them tracks. 5 M